Hello crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I'm here sharing a card featuring rubber stamps from Seaside Stampin Ink and these water-soluble oil pastels from Prima. So I have one of the Seaside Stampin Ink rubber stamps. They're cling stamps, so even though they're made of rubber, you can use them with the clear blocks on my stamp pad. And then I'm just taking two different colors of the Prima Oil Pastels, and I'm coloring directly onto the stamp. There's no real technique here, you just kind of scribble it on and see how you like it. And I want the colors to blend nicely. You want to think about colors that work well together. I had some purple next to some yellow on another project, another thing I was giving a try, and if you know anything about the color wheel, that wasn't a very good idea because it mostly just makes brown. So think about complementary colors here. I'm keeping it simple by just using two different colors of brown. And I want to just create a background here. So once you have colored the oil pastels on, they're water soluble, so you need to use water to activate them. And so what I did was I took my Tim Holtz Distress sprayer and I sprayed a really fine mist. Any sprayer that you have would do, and you just want to make sure you get it wet, and you don't want it to be soaking wet, just a light spray. And continue to do this, stamping the words on until you have the whole background filled. Personally, I kind of like these build a background stamps as opposed to a solid background because you can use them in a more variety of ways, whereas like if this was a full 6x6 background stamp, you'd be a little bit more restricted. So I like having this versatility here, but you do have to line them up. Luckily, the Seaside Stampin Ink rubber stamps, they're trimmed pretty closely, and these are all cling mounted ready to go for you. It's not one of those ones where you have to put the cling mount on yourself. It gives a pretty good closeness, and so you can line them up with your clear block pretty easily. So basically for this card, I'm going to just be doing a lot of layering of stamps and create my whole own scene rather than using any sort of background paper. And the paper that I'm working on is also from Seaside Stampin Ink. It's a clay-coated gloss paper. What I like about the gloss paper is it gives a really crisp, clear, distinct impression. So you can really see all of the detail in your stamps, which is particularly great when you're using rubber stamps because they do have such fine detail in them already, because you can really get that detail with them. And so for this leaf stamp, which is part of the same stamp set from Seaside Stampin Ink, I am coloring it with two kinds of green, similar to the way I use two kinds of brown for the words, so a light and a darker green. Generally, I'm keeping the darker green towards the center and sort of trying to do like a fade out to the light green, but they're pretty different, and so it's pretty clear where one ends and the other begins. However, you could do a little bit more of a blending if you wanted, simply by when you spray the water on, you could come in with a paintbrush and wipe the colors around a little bit, and you would get a little bit more of a blend. But it kind of depends on what you are looking for in a particular stamp. I do like the possibility of being able to stamp more than one color at one time, and that's a little bit harder to do with an ink pad. So that's something that's nice about these oil pastels from Prima. Once I have all of that completed, I am ready to add a little bit of inking to the background. You see that I did the same technique to stamp on this it's a Da Vinci image, also from Seaside Stampin Ink, so like the face of a woman there. And I just used a dark brown and a black. I wanted to spread a little bit of ink onto there because I didn't like how much it contrasted with that bright white background. I felt like it should have a little bit more of a distressed finish. You could add the distress ink first or stamp on a darker piece of paper, but like I said, I wanted that gloss look. However, when you start spreading things around, the images are going to blur a little bit and lend to that vintage look. Finally, I finished it off with the Discover sentiment from a different stamp set, also from Seaside Stampin Ink, and that is going to be it for my card today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in more crafting tutorials, you can subscribe to my channel. I usually share about 2 tutorials a week featuring a variety of stamps and styles. And you can also check out Seaside Stampin Ink in a link in the video description below. Thanks for watching. Bye.